Hello, everybody. It's Shane Yonchiuk from Dr. Daly's research class. I hope everybody's doing all right when you're hearing this. Yeah, I'm just going to present my research here with you guys. Um, so, just to start off, we'll start with my research topic. The research topic is the role of the unnecessary sugar-based foods in the client's health. The client is unhappy with their current weight and they believe that eliminating their consumption of unnecessary sugar-based foods will lower their weight and thus will help improve their overall health. So, basically, to give you guys the rundown here of what was planned regarding our research design and our methods. So the first step is we agreed upon a goal. So the client and I agreed that they would eliminate their consumption of unnecessary sugar-based foods over a 4-week period with peer support. So friends will help the client out just by motivating him, supporting him socially. At one point, friends of the client actually accompanied them to the gym. So that was a big help to the client. The the participant or the client is a 20-year-old male, and again, it was a period over 4 weeks of time taken from February 6th, 2020, around to March 8th, 2020. So from there, just to describe part of the framework of this, um, past research and reports provide value in breaking away from unnecessary sugar-based foods. A quote here from the World Health Organization from 2016 states that the recommendations are based on analysis of the latest scientific evidence. The evidence shows, first, that adults who consume less sugars have lower body weight, and second, that increasing the amount of sugars in the diet is associated with a weight increase. In addition, research shows that children with the highest intakes of sugar sweetened drinks are more likely to be overweight or obese than children who have a low intake of sugar sweetened drinks. So, this is saying essentially that adults who consume less sugars, and of course, it showed that children who consumed far less sugar sweet drinks will have better health results. You know, the less sugar you have, the better results it's going to have on your overall health. And then because the client will be tracking their calories and weight while consciously practicing absence from necessary based foods, they will see a loss in weight and will find success within the intervention. That's my hypothesis, is that because they're tracking the calories and weight and they're focusing on it and they are trying to see a loss of weight from not consuming sugar and keeping record of it, I do believe that from their efforts, they will see positive results. Um, so from there, we're going to go over to um, our results, which consisted of the client did see a decrease in their overall calorie intake over a 4-week period, so that did go down. Um, The client started at 229 pounds regarding their weight, and by the end of the intervention, they were at 219 pounds. So, again, that showed that the results were positive here. So, our results were positive. The client did see a decrease in their calories, and their weight did go down. Now for their calories, it did fluctuate a bit. It dropped to week 3 and went up for week 4, which is what we were expecting to see with the calories. But overall, the calories did drop from their total from the first week. So the research, it speaks on accountability of energy levels. So it's put on over multiple sources and years and describes specific health benefits. So basically, the research we did, again, there's several clients it's going off of. It's like there's a lot of research behind it. But with our research, the client was happy with the results. They did question the intervention, though. The client they expressed that they believed that although dropping the consumption of unnecessary sugar-based foods, like just going cold turkey essentially, they thought it was good. It was one way to go about this. But the client thought that maybe um, unnecessary sugar, like completely dropping unnecessary sugar-based foods, maybe that wasn't the best way to go about the intervention. Perhaps they could have um, focused on limiting it, or perhaps balance, putting limitations on how much they eat. Um, they thought that perhaps doing an intervention like that, or maybe an intervention about their fitness, like practicing physical activity specifically, maybe that would have been a better way than instead initially going on seeing about them going cold turkey, essentially. Um, Again, but some of the limitations here are, again, it's one client. Again, it's their personal results, so everyone else's results are different. Like in terms of providing data, it's hard when it's just one client where everybody else would have different results here. Um, Again, the motivation and careful assessment of the client's desires. It's like trying to make it specific to that client. So perhaps interventions that are more specific in the goal, like in terms of, again, maybe instead of just saying completely dropping unnecessary sugar-based sugars, like unnecessary sugar-based foods, like maybe another way, a more specific way to go about the intervention. Um, and then again, another like suggestion of mine is, along with making sure that the motivations and the assessment of the client's desires are there, would be to ensure that measurable data is available and agreed upon. So before you get into the intervention, you know how you're going to pursue it. Like, are you going to track their weight over every week? Are you going to go about calories? Are you going to do something else entirely? Make sure you know how you're going to measure your data and that it's agreed upon well before you begin, because doing that is very important to be able to show results and data, and to make like to make something with your intervention and to make sure it's concrete. You have to make sure that you have some way to measure the data at the starting point. So I just think that's a very important reminder for people to have. But in conclusion, the total absence of unnecessary sugar-based foods leads to a positive health benefits, but it's not necessary for positive change. So again, the intervention was positive, but it wasn't entirely necessary. There are other ways to pursue, again, working on the client's health and breaking down their consumption of unnecessary sugar-based foods without entirely eliminating their consumption. So that concludes my research. My question now for the class is, what would you suggest as an alternative way to pursue the client's goal um, here? Because the way we pursued the goal was for them to, again, part of their goal was to um, their goal essentially was to drop unnecessary sugar-based foods, for them not to consume any unsugar-based foods. But it shows that they still um, there that led to positive results. But are there other ways to um, tackle this issue for the client? Like perhaps would you suggest, instead of going cold turkey with unnecessary sugar-based foods, would you suggest maybe making limitations? Is there another way you'd see, is there another option that you would suggest to your client, um, versus entirely going cold turkey and dropping unnecessary sugar-based foods? Is there another way to go about this that you would suggest? But other than that, that concludes my research, and I hope you all have a great day. Thank you very much.